Well, what, a week or so into this, you didn't know much before when we talked to you. What have you found out since?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot more. I mean, it's hard when you're playing against the same guys every day, and they've been playing against the same guys all summer, and we haven't rebounded very well, but you can't tell really if we're rebounding it well offensively and not rebounding it defensively or vice versa. You know, it's you need to have somebody else out there so you can blame somebody, you know. You can't run over and pat one guy on the butt and say, hey, great job, and the other guy, you know, why didn't you block him out?
They look like they've jumped up a good bit from last year.
JC's playing at a really, really high level right now. I don't know if any of the rest of them, whether you notice that big a difference. Beetle was playing really well until he sprained his ankle. But I thought he was much improved. Chase Harler. Chase is playing a lot better.
You mentioned this summer he was really working on his shot. How's that progressed?
Well, we got him from he had his thumb under the ball. You can't have your thumb under the ball. He's shooting it a lot better. His mechanics are better. When your mechanics are better, generally you shoot it better.
Mine said Lamont looks like a different, more determined player, more confident.
Who said that?
Mine.
Oh.
The keynote speaker.
I must have been watching the wrong guy. He's shooting the ball. He's really shooting the ball. But he's got to rebound it. He's got to defend. He's got to do a bunch of other things. And he's trying. He is. I'll give him that. He's trying. But I mean, we had practice the other day. He had one more rebound than Jerry's statue. So
It's probably a loose ball rebound.
I can't remember what it was, but
You've also talked about Javon's work ethic. Did you know that he had that? You know, when he first got here, did he have that when he, come in as a freshman?
I knew he played really hard. And I had all the other three guys go watch him as well to see if they saw the same thing I saw. And it didn't matter if they were playing 8 o'clock in the morning or they were playing 8 o'clock at night. I mean, he stood out because he played so much harder and because he really tried to guard. You know, he really put a lot of pressure on the ball. And I knew he wasn't ready at that point in time to be a point guard. He's ready now. He's playing really well.
So you say he's better. How? I mean, he's Defensive Player of the Year last year in the country, so where can he improve?
Passes it better. His decision making's much better. He's shooting the ball much better. I think his ball skills are much better. All the things that you can really by putting time in, you can get better. He's better at.
You got probably, I haven't researched it, but you probably got one of the most experienced backcourts in the country with Dax and Carter. I mean, you're talking about probably 200 starts. How do you use that to your advantage, having those experienced guys?
Well, the first thing we got to do is get Dax out of the training room. But I don't know. I mean, I thought honestly going in that pair would be as good as any pair. But I mean, you gotta practice, man. You know.
Does that take a little off you? I mean, when you got experienced guards, identifying things and helping them out on the floor, and does that take a little burden off you because they can do some of that now that maybe before you had to coach them through things?
Well, it's a lot more than them knowing. I think their teammates have to trust them. I think when their teammates, when they get on their teammates, rather, their teammates got to know that they've earned that. They've got to know that they know what they're talking about. I think Deshaun Butler was a great example. I mean, he got on guys, but they knew how hard he worked. They knew his understanding of what was supposed to happen, and so, you listen. But it's very much a respect thing. I mean, it's the same way with coaches. I mean, if you don't respect your coach and think he knows what he's talking about, you're not going to pay him a whole lot of attention. I mean, that's life. So that's why I think it's so important that those guys not just lead you with experience, but they lead you with effort. They lead you with, all the so-called intangible things that make you a lot better, make your team a lot better. He got a knee and a thigh.
That'll do it.
For some people, yeah, for some people it will.
I mean, it is good. Could you stretch Javon to feel comfortable?
Depends on the game. Depends on, when the other team is trying to really slow it down, he can play more minutes. I mean, obviously. It comes down to more possessions, Mike, than it does time. I think I told you this. Wani came in and said, he was playing 39 minutes a game, and he was down to whatever it was, 28, 29 minutes, whatever. And he said, I'm not getting the same kind of touches. And the reality is we had more possessions, so he had the ball more in 29 minutes than he did in 39 minutes because of the speed of the game.
So pushing him from like 29 minutes a game to, this is arbitrary, 33. That really wouldn't matter so much as far as wear and tear, but if he was playing an extra 10 possessions of the game over those, that might be more alarming.
Well, I think it's more of, it's hard to get him out of practice. Some of them it's hard to get into practice. It's really hard to get him out of practice. And Day was that way. It was just hard to get him out. You put him out and you turn around, they're back in. We've got to kind of, honestly, there should be some games where he doesn't have to play at near as many minutes, and then there's going to be games when he's going to have to play heavy minutes.
What do you think of your newcomers?
Our new guys? I've been happy with Wes. Wes is trying. It's a lot of things thrown at him, in a short period of time. I think the good thing about playing Texas A&M in Germany is the exposure. The bad thing is, if you were playing somebody else, you could go a little slower. And so we've had to go a little faster than what probably we have in the past, except for a few exceptions. But I think Wes has been good. D'Angelo has some positive things. We got to get him, a little tougher. But I think basketball-wise, he's shooting it well. He's making pretty good decisions with the ball, and he's got great size. For a perimeter guy, he's 6'6" and long. He just, it's a little harder here than it is a lot of places. So I think that's an adjustment that new guys really have to make.
Obviously, keep an eye on Javon away from practices, like off-season, make sure he's not burning at both ends during the season.
Well, we shut him down last year for a little while because he was starting to break down a little bit, but.
Right. That was during the season, right?
Yeah, but you know what, Mike? I mean, when you think about it, here's a guy who, I think he's an NBA player. I think he can play in the NBA. When you take exhibition games and everything, that's 100 games, man. You better get used to it.
He didn't like he gives himself a break, though. You mentioned everything he did in the offseason. He seems like he's pretty committed to
Well, Michael Jordan didn't give himself a break either.
Jordan.
I mean, the great ones don't. I mean, you know, the story about one of those guys going in and supposedly Larry Bird went in and shot for whatever it was, an hour or something, and then he went up and ran like 3 miles up on the top of the old Boston Garden, and a guy went in there and some guy's mopping the floor, and he said, I knew it wasn't right. I knew Bird wasn't in here shooting. The guy goes, no, he's already done. He's up there, and the guy looked up there. He was running laps, you know, before the game. So, I mean, a lot of it is what you conditioned your mind to, I think. But, I mean, if those guys played heavy minutes, heavy minutes.
You mentioned sprained ankle and then the knee to the thigh. What about Napper? How's he doing? And is anybody else hurt?
Yeah, just some guys' feelings. I don't know. They looked at Knapp yesterday, and he's on schedule, but that's a while. You know, he's still going to be. It's going to be at the earliest, I would think. You know, late January, at the earliest, where he'll be able to do anything really. You know, basketball-wise, anything. So. Beetle sprained it pretty good. But a lot of it is how bad do you want to come back. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of it is how bad do you want to come back. Guys play with a lot of stuff now. They play with a lot of bumps and bruises and strains and sprains, and the guys that want to.
Did you guys scrimmaging this year?
Blue Gold game.
Not private.
Yeah, we're going to scrimmage Purdue.
Purdue. It's like 3 years in a row, I think.
2.
2.
This is the second.
Who's playing point guard for your practice?
Now,
Javon and
Truck.
Now, Truck.
We got Darryl out there. Yeah. He and KJ are trying to get in a little bit of shape before they leave to go to Europe. So, yeah. Yeah, he's been out there. They play offense. But Truck always did. Yeah, Truck always did.
I got that one, yeah.
You don't throw their ass on the treadmill, do you?
No,
They're done with that?
they're done with that. They get on the bike. But yeah, those guys have been out there, and then we're playing Chase there a little bit.
You see,
Medical miracles aside, is the hope that Brandon can give you 12 to 15 games at the end, or is that just...
No. Brandon's done for the year.
we think of Teddy. What can he do for you, Teddy Allen?
Teddy, score.
Can he defend yet? Do you think he will be able to?
Just a matter if Teddy can outscore his man. He's getting better. I mean, he's probably made the most improvement of anybody. But he can score the ball. I mean, he finds ways to score the ball. And I think his attitude's been terrific. And I mean, at first he didn't think he had to play defense. Like most guys that score a lot of points in high school. And now he's really accepted it. He's not very good at it, but he's really trying. So he'll get better.
The exhibition game, you had that big gap. Is that better to play it at that point of the season instead of?
Billy knew he was leaving. Billy knew he was retiring. Now, we just had a big gap in there, and I didn't want that big a gap, so I thought it would benefit us more to play a game in there than it would be to play an exhibition game before we started. I mean, we got the scrimmage, and we're playing so early anyways. I don't know that playing somebody that, honestly, we should beat handily. I don't know how much good that does us. we're not going to get a whole lot of preparation for those two big guys on the block that we're going to face November 10th.
How's Canades accepting the role that's thrust upon him now?
Who?
Canade.
Yeah, most of the time. I think KJ being around has really helped him because it's kind of knocked his self-esteem down a little bit. Yeah. KJ gets every rebound like he always has, and it's good for Sags to be able to see somebody like that. I mean, he's a talented Stag's a talented guy, and he's improved dramatically offensively. I mean, dramatically offensively, and to the point where we'll run some things for him because he's made that much improvement. But it's Bob, the hard thing, man, is it's an every play, every day grind, and that's hard for young guys, and particularly a guy like him that just so dominated high school with his strength and his athleticism. And they're used to taking plays off. The biggest difference between us, between like a Deshaun Butler, a Wellington Smith, and those guys, they learn not to take plays off. And Day took a lot of plays off early on. And as you mature, as you understand you can't do that, you get better at it. But it doesn't happen overnight.
You say Sags is better offensively. Can he step out a little bit to 10 feet or so? Or what do you think he's comfortable with now?
He's 15, 17 feet right now. I mean, I think eventually he'll be able to step out and make threes. But, I mean, right now we need him to – we do need him to make shots 15, 16 feet. And the good thing about it, he's shooting it well from – he's shooting from the baseline. He's shooting from, in the circle. His jump hook has really gotten better. Actually, his jump hook's got better with both hands, not just his right hand. So he's put a lot of time. He's still putting time in. I mean, he's still in here every night.
Ron was talking about, all the things that he's worked on over his career, going into this season, becoming more vocal, talking more, communicating more. Was that important for him to?
Well, when I tried to recruit him, I thought he was a mute. He never said anything. I mean, absolutely nothing. And then there were times, where you can't shut him up. But I think in terms of him being a leader, he understands that, there's times when less is more. And that's what he's working on. He's working on, if you're constantly chattering at somebody or constantly on somebody's butt, they have a tendency to turn you off. And he's learning that. I think all the guys that we've had here that have been really good. Wani learned it, and it's just a matter of when you want to win, your learning curve is a lot less. When you really want to win, when it becomes more about us and less about me. And he's never been that way, really. He's never been a me guy, ever.
You mentioned Texas A&M speeding you up a little bit. How much do you need? How much do you feel comfortable with where you got to prep for them and when you cut off and start making that transition?
Well, I think they're worried about us speeding them up more than they want to play half court. I mean, and having the two guys they got on the block, well, why wouldn't you? Those guys are good, and they've got shot makers. They've got guys that are very capable of making perimeter shots. So I think they're or if they're not there now, they will be a very proficient half-court offensive team where we want to play up and down. We want to try to get numbers and keep the numbers in our favor.
How does Teddy scores? Slasher, inside, drive?
Pardon?
Teddy.
He can shoot it. Yeah. It's not the most picturesque looking shot, but it goes in. He shoots it well from the perimeter. He drives it. He knows how to score. I mean, if you asked all the guys, like, who's your best scorer, they probably say Teddy. Now, I mean, it's going to end up being JC, obviously, but Teddy can score. And Teddy's tough. Teddy's got he's got some toughness to him. He's not a soft kid.
You basically have like a month before that trip to Germany, but it sounds like you've already started watching film, scouting, A&M.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be good at what you need to be good at. Certainly at the right time. But yeah, I mean, we've watched some tape.
Is it any different from, like, say, if you're playing UVA in Game 5 last year, that you get ahead of the jump on that kind of stuff, or we call it this Game 1? Does it get more acute and focused?
I mean, we probably did some things to get ready for UVA. I mean, we had 4 guards that were pretty good, and we don't have 4 now that have the experience that they have. I mean, when you're talking about JC and Dax and Tariq, they had a lot of experience, and then Tavon had a year under his belt. So yeah, we acted like we were preparing for who we were going to play sometimes, but we really weren't.
Bob, you said in the last interview session that you didn't know if you'd be able to press to the degree you have in the past. Now, a couple weeks into it, do you have an idea if you can do that?
I mean, I'm more convinced we can't than we can right now. You got to play so hard, I just, you watch the rules video and you watch those things, and man, we played hard. And Nate played incredibly hard, really, when you look at his body of work. And but it took him a while. It took him a while so we're looking at our 5 inside guys are all sophomores. Nate was obviously much better as a senior than a sophomore, as they will be. But somehow we got to get them. We got to get a couple of them, anyways. A little ahead of the curve.
Did your trip a no-brainer for you, or did you kind of have to weigh some options about it?
Well, I think in light of what's going on in our country, I think it was a no-brainer. To be able to go over and spend time with the troops, to be able to play on the base, which is going to be 99%, right, troops in there, watching the game, enjoying the game. I mean, that part of it was a no-brainer. And then I think, for us, it's going to get a lot of build-up because it's the first game of the year. So I didn't want to do it just because of the travel, because of how much we travel anyway. But I thought the positive far outweighed that negative. That's the only negative that I could find with it.
Maybe easier to get to Germany than Lubbock.
I don't want to say that because, see, when you sit there, they're not behind you screaming things like that, the stupid things that I say. You can say stupid things. They don't know who in the hell you are, so they don't. Yeah, they don't.
on the agenda? I mean, are you going to do any tourism activities, or what? Do you have time to do anything else over there?
They've got a schedule for us. Yeah, they've got a schedule for us that we're going to go visit the troops some. The coaches they're going to get a team, I think, of West Virginia. West Virginia natives, right, against Texas natives, yeah, and our staff's going to coach, obviously, the West Virginia team, and Billy and his staff will coach the Texas team.
Bringing the treadmill with you?
You know, I don't think the treadmill would bother them, Bob. I think they probably, I think they're well past that.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob.